Lost tonight and found your way to the basketball game. The message at halftime was very, very clear. I thought Salle came out of the blocks very fast, pressuring us, attacking us defensively, offensively, and it took us quite a while to respond. We dug ourselves a hole. We were down 11, cut that lead to 6, and then came out in the second half and really came out attacking. Makes a big difference because then you make shots and you make free throws and you play much better defense when you're in an attack mode. And with Shane and Duran, they're our leaders. If they're not attacking, no one's attacking. They play strictly on the perimeter and don't get inside the defense. But in the second half, those guys did a fantastic job of just staying on the attack, scoring. And you saw what they did. Shane drove to the basket 3 or 4 times. Then they backed off him. He buried a couple of threes. Then we traded positions and gave Duran the ball, and he drove to the basket, and he either scored or got fouled, and then went to the foul line and cashed in there. And the other guys were playing great defense and feeding off of them. We ended up with 4 guys in double figures and a bunch of guys chipping in on the backboard. So it was a very good team effort against a very good LaSalle team.
I think you out-rebounded them by like 8 in the second half.
Yeah.
I think that's been a concern of yours as well, too.
Well, we haven't been a great rebounding team, and without Reggie Johnson, who's our best rebounder at both ends of the court, it's going to take more of a team effort. It's not going to be one guy. You know, Julian Gamble's going to play Reggie's position, but he's not the same player. He's very, very good at what he does. But you saw tonight, we were playing against a team like LaSalle, who's very small. They play 4 and sometimes 5 guards. Mm-hmm. And they try to stretch you out and shoot a bunch of threes. And in the first half, they were very successful. In the second half, we became much more aggressive defensively. We were able to guard Galloway much better and their other perimeter players much better. And you know, the difference is, in the first half they have 36, in the second half they have 23. In the first half they had 6 threes, in the second half they had 1. So, you know, our defensive intensity picked up as soon as we started being aggressive offensively. And one feeds off of the other all the time.
Mm-hmm.
See Eric stepping up a little bit. Now, when you were in Hawaii, you didn't know about Reggie. Now you know. Did you see him grabbing the opportunity? Or?
Well, everything is about matchups. If they were a big team, we probably would have played Raphael and Tanya more, which I did initially. But what ended up happening, as soon as I subbed those 2 guys, they went small, and DJ Peterson immediately hit 2 threes on Tanya. Well, it's not Tanya's fault. He's not used to guarding a guard. But I have to react. I either got to go zone or sub. And we moved Eric in to guard him, and he did a nice job.
Coach, one of the things Duran mentioned earlier was that word together. Is that a word that you used at the start of the season, or as some of these injuries and other things mounted?
Yeah, I did it at the start of the season in 1986 when I became a head coach. And I've used it every day since then for my entire head coaching career. And it's a word that we start every practice with and end every practice with. And we start and end practice the same way, and it's very symbolic. We stand around the half-court circle, and the circle is symbolic of there's no top, there's no bottom, there's no sides. Everybody is equal. Everybody has their own job and their own responsibilities. And we're all in this together. I need to do my job well, and every player needs to do their job well. My staff needs to do their job well. And if we all contribute together, we'll all succeed together. And if we lose together.
Jimmy, mind giving us a little state of the union where we are now going into league play? Obviously, you had a lot of good road wins, some big wins, some probably losses that might have been unexpected. It's sort of an interesting resume you have going forward here. I wonder if you could just touch on a little bit where you are.
I believe greatly in numbers. And right now we're 9-3. That's a pretty good number. We've won 75% of our games. Second number I look at is strength of schedule. Have we challenged ourselves in the non-conference? And in the RPI, I think our non-conference strength of schedule is in the top 10 in the country. So the answer is yes, we've challenged ourselves. The other is what kind of results have we got with that challenging schedule, and right now, we're in the top 15 or 16 in the RPI, which, if this were March, it would be a great indicator of a team that's going to play in the NCAA tournament. But it's not March, it's only January, and we haven't even started conference play. So we will put non-conference behind us, and now we've got to produce under conference circumstances. And the ACC has had a great non-conference performance. Georgia Tech, I don't know how they did tonight, but they were 9-2 going into tonight's game. You got Duke is #1 in the country and undefeated. You have Carolina, who's bounced back with a number of great wins after a couple of early season losses with a young team. They're now back in the top 25. You have Maryland, who only has one loss, and that's to Kentucky on the road. So the team that was favored to win it, North Carolina State, I think either 5 or 6 or 7 consecutive games of shooting over 50%. They're red hot offensively. So the league is deep, it's talented, and we know every night we have to show up and play our best if we're going to continue to have the kind of results that we've had in the non-conference. And the league changed. It's gone to 18 games. So that's 2 more conference games instead of non-conference games. So that makes it even more challenging. And those 2 games for us this year are Duke is one of them. We're playing them home and away. We only played them at their place last year. So we've got a very challenging conference schedule as well.
I believe you're unbeaten with both Durand and Reggie.
That's true.
That would seem to bode well if you can keep your head above water here for the next 8 to 10 games, that you could finish ACC's play strong.
Well, the great part is Reggie's attitude has been tremendous.
Mm-hmm.
You know, how you handle adversity says an awful lot about your character and how you'll come back. If you get down in the dumps and you kind of give up on yourself and think the season is lost, you know, it's going to be hard for you to come back and play as well as you're capable of. On the other hand, in Reggie's case, he took the news like a real professional. He immediately went to work on his conditioning. He's been working with our strength and conditioning coach and our trainer to get in even better shape. And I mean, he was playing over 30 minutes a game.
Mm-hmm.
So if we can get him back in February sometime and he's in the best shape of his life, which he very well could be, then we could be very good when he's back in the lineup. But 6 or 8 weeks without him is not a week. You know, this is not something that you know, we can afford to have any slippage.
You mentioned the consistency of the message about together. It's something that can apply at all your jobs. What's different, or what have you changed differently, I guess, from your last job to this job? Is there anything that you've had to change?
I'd say the biggest change has been the circumstances that we've had to adjust to. When my staff and I arrived here, April 27th, we had Reggie Johnson and Julian Gamble, 2 very high-level big men. We had only signed 1 freshman, Bishop Daniels. When school began in September, we didn't have any of those 3. All 3 of them were on the injured list. And Bishop and Julian didn't play at all, and Reggie didn't play until mid-December. And by that time, another player, Darius Adams, had gone down with an injury. Circumstances have an awful lot to do with how you coach. So when you have a very fast, athletic team, you might play one way. If you have a very big, strong, physical team, you might play yet another way. If you've got a great three-point shooting team. So we had to constantly be making adjustments in how we were going to play, and it's been true this year. We lost a kid named Melvin Johnson in July. We lost Bishop Daniels at the break. Darius Adams been out with another knee injury, and now we lose Reggie.
That's 4 scholarship players, and we didn't have Durant Scott for our first 3 games. So we've had 5 players out. I looked at it, we've had, or will have had,
Over 107 games missed this season, and that's if everybody stays healthy now.
Is the way you played tonight, it seemed like it almost looked like a little dribble drive, constant attacking, going one-on-one. That's almost an adjustment in itself too from the way you've played most of the season, isn't it?
It is very much so. 2 factors, who we were playing, and looking at them. If you look at LaSalle's stats, again, I believe in numbers, they defend the 3 very, very well. In fact, they don't give up many threes. But their opponents have scored at a very high rate from the 2-point range. And our staff, in looking at them, we constantly felt that we needed to go to the basket and not settle for perimeter jump shots. And if we did that, we could score and get fouled. And we did that regularly in the second half. We didn't do it so well. But we play a team that's different. We might shoot a lot more threes because we are a good 3-point shooting team when we're playing on all cylinders.
Thanks, Coach.